What's going on, peeps? This is Sleeky Ratings
Fuck this.
coming at you today with top 5 scary movies. Now, not horror scary, comedy scary, aka the spoof movies. I always wondered as a kid when these came out, what was the purpose behind it? But then I come to realize that you need some comedic relief in the world, especially like in life in general. And a big part of that, a big component of that is, for example, Family Guy. They make fun of actors, actresses. They make fun of movies, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. Well, Scary Movie does that too, except they also do it in a movie form. So one thing that's cool about Scary Movie is what they typically do is that they have, by the way, spoiler alerts ahead, just giving you that heads up now, spoiler alerts ahead. Anyway, so what they typically do, right, is that they have a main plot line and then they make other stuff. For example, Scary Movie 5 makes fun of Cabin in the Woods and Paranormal Activity, like primarily, but then they also throw in other jabs at other movies, stuff like that, make fun of that. There's other spoof movies out there, you have like the OG Airplane. That's a great movie. And also I'm doing this film because of Scary Movie 6 is coming out in 2026. I definitely probably try to go see that in theaters maybe. I just want to see what it kind of like what the plot's going to be about it. I don't think there's too much information out yet on it. And I'm going to take more into it, but I just know Scary Movie 6 is supposed to be released in 2026. So I am excited for that. But let's get right into it, all right? So I'm going to rank them worst to best like I typically do, and I'm going to give them a Sleeky rating on each of them. All right, so let's get it. 5, I'm putting Scary Movie 4.
Make the damn basket.
It primarily makes fun of War at World's End. That's a mouthful to say. But it primarily makes fun of that. It makes fun of Saw. You have the standard crew in it. What's kind of cool is that they typically keep the same crew for most of the films. Sometimes they adjust it. Like, for example, since Tom Cruise is in War of World's End, they have someone who plays similar to him, that kind of stuff. The con I kind of said for it is that even though they kind of stuck to a main plot, they definitely had like some moments where they kind of went off the beaten path, if you will. They kind of went off the plot line, and that kind of could get confusing for some people. I did think it had funny moments, but from the rest of the Scary Movie films that we have out currently, I put that at spot 5, and I gave it a 5 out of 10. I'm not saying these spoof movies are fantastic. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying like they deserve to be in the top 20 films of all time. That's not what the point of these films. The point of these films are comedic relief. And that's why I personally kind of hold true to my heart. And I'm hoping you guys do. I don't know if you guys do. Comment down below if you guys like the spoof movies ideas. But there's plenty of spoof movies out there like Airplane, like Scary Movie series, Epic, Disaster Movie. You got Stan Helsing. That was a newer one. I thought that was hilarious, but I didn't put that in here because it's not a scary movie. A bunch of spoof movies out there, and I feel like that holds true to most of our hearts just because it adds some comedic relief and it makes fun of the other films. I don't know. You guys comment down below if whether or not you agree, disagree with that comment. Went off the beaten path there for a second as well. Anyway, Scary Movie 4. Overall, like I said, Scary Movie 4, I give it 5 out of 10. It's not bad. Do I think it's like worth watching? Absolutely. But I don't think it's the best in the whole series. Number 4, Scary Movie 5. I actually just had to rewatch it recently because it obviously is the most recent film. There was a couple funny moments I just genuinely remembered, like the Mac Miller and Snoop Dogg scene. That was kind of funny when they were debating back and forth between the cabin in the woods.
The monsters.
That wasn't in the woods. That wasn't even a damn movie.
Look, man, we ain't got time for this shit right now. We need to get to that cabin in the woods.
I thought that was kind of funny. And then they pointed the guns at each other. That was also pretty funny. Primarily, like I said, it focuses on making fun of Paranormal Activity and Cabins in the Woods. I said that earlier. It's not as funny as the rest. That's my con for it. And I'm not saying it's not funny. It's just not funny as the rest of the Scary Movie franchise films. And that's why, like I said, the Snoop Dogg and Mac Miller, rest in peace. I just, like, those scenes were hilarious, right? But some of the other ones were kind of They were kind of moments. But it also makes fun of the Black Swan, that kind of thing. Overall, I gave it 6 out of 10, guys. It's pretty average, it's kind of mid. And again, most of these spoof movies are going to be mid. Like, none of them are going to get like 10 out of 10s without a doubt. They're just something, it's like a, hey, I just want to sit on the couch and just watch something or whatever. That's something you throw on. Something you don't have to think about. Something you don't have to like dive deep into, right? You have to like really think. Number 3, I put Scary Movie 2. Scary Movie 2 definitely had a lot of funny moments. Overall, it makes fun of haunted houses. It had the Exorcist scene in it. I thought that was pretty hilarious. It just makes fun of all that. And another big pro I said to it, and one thing I like about all of these scary movies in general, and actually other spoof movies tend to do this as well, is they add the bloopers at the end, right? And I feel like a lot of movies used to have bloopers at the end. Movies and producing and all that stuff are starting to go away with that, which kind of sucks because I feel like bloopers add like a realistic side to it because there's no friggin' way you're going to get the first take, it's going to be perfect. No way. I mean, maybe sometimes, I guess. I don't know. There's some scenes, some great movies with some great scenes that they just did in one take and like, yep, we're going to roll with that. But what spoof movies tend to do, especially the Scary Movie franchise, they add bloopers at the end, which I love. Scary Movie 4 had a decent one. Scary Movie 5 had a decent one. But Scary Movie 2, I love that because they played Ride With Me by Nelly while they showed all the bloopers. I thought that was really, really cool. So I put that as a pro. And like I said, the con to it, kind of like I mentioned a little bit ago, the plot is okay. I'm not saying it's bad or anything, but it just, since it primarily in general makes fun of haunted houses and primarily in general makes fun of paranormal activity, there's not a solid specific film they're targeting, right? Like how we had in Scary Movie 5 or Scary Movie 4. Overall, I give that 6.5 out of 10. Let's get into number 2, Scary Movie 2. Wait, no, that's not right. Scary Movie 3. Let's get right into it. Number 2, Scary Movie 3. Okay, so bunch of pros for this one. I just put a few down. It makes fun of signs. It has hilarious moments. Kevin Hart's in it, so you know it's going to be funny. I can go on and on as to why there's a lot of pros with this one. I mean, you have the iconic shovel scene, right? The shovel shotgun scene. Everyone still laughs about it to this day. They just make fun of signs primarily. They also make fun of The Ring and that kind of stuff, but they primarily make fun of signs. That I said the con, you know, even though they really don't make fun of as much, because you got to think of it as Scary Movie 3, right? It's not like 4 and 5 where it's new, where they have a bunch of stuff added to it. Primarily, like I said, it just makes fun of signs and The Ring. It had a weird plot line because it made fun of the two. Somehow they had to try to incorporate the two plot lines together, which I thought was kind of weird, because Signs is all about aliens, stuff like that. The Ring is about like this chick coming out of the TV, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, point is that they try to blend the two together, which kind of works, kind of doesn't. So the plot line's kind of weird. I just overall, it had a bunch of funny moments in it compared to the rest of them. Like the bigger hat scene, that was kind of funny. And you know, at first you're like, is that hat getting bigger? And it actually is getting bigger. I gave that one a 7 out of 10. I mean, it's not like perfect by any means, but I think it's better than the rest of them so far. And you know, let's talk about number 1. Scary Movie 1 to be exact. Primarily makes fun of Scream. I remember when Scream 1 first came out and I watched it. Yeah, because I originally, obviously, there's some people, like I read in the comments, that they watched this before they actually watched Scream. So they knew what they were kind of getting into. But I primarily watched Scream, then I actually watched Scary Movie 1. It's funny to watch it in that sequence because you see the realistic side when you watch Scream, right? Obviously, it's a thriller horror I talked about in other videos. And when you watch this, you can see why like they make fun of it, because there's so much silliness about it. Like when Ghostface is like, I'm in the house.
I'm in the house. What? How do you know that?
I can see your feet.
And there's just a bunch of funny moments in there, and how like Ghostface, because he's technically like a person underneath the mask, they show he's a human after all. I don't know. There's just a bunch of funny stuff in it. The con, you know, I honestly said, guys, I kind of put it as a classic, right? When I was reading some of the comments from other people posting about Scream 1 or Ghostface, that kind of thing, you know, a lot of people said it's a classic, and I would tend to agree. Scary Movie 1 is a classic film, not in the sense of, oh, it's like Breakfast Club. Oh, it's like, you know, Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Scream, the original Scream. Like, it's not like a classic, like it's a staple. But as far as spoof movie goes, like Airplane, it's a classic. Meaning that it's the first it's the first scary movie to come out. So because of that, it kind of just solidifies as a classic film. So I honestly couldn't come up with a con for this one. And that's what kind of sucks, because there is a con to every movie. But like, and I try to think, I'm like, I mean, I guess you could talk about the plot, but they primarily focus on Scream. It's not like the other scary movies where they kind of bounce around from a few of them. They add a couple extra things in Scary Movie 1, but they primarily just focus on Scream and Ghostface and stuff. And Dewey, the iconic Officer Doofus, like they kind of make it perfect in that film. I mean, if you guys can think of a con, comment down below, because I would love to read about it. But yeah, guys, I gave that a solid 8 out of 10. All these spoof movies, you know, and the ones that didn't include, because they're obviously not Scary Movie, but like, you know, Stan Helsing, Airplane, all that stuff. Airplane is obviously a staple as far as spoof movie goes. All these films, right, like I said, I don't think they're not meant to be like, oh, I'm going to dive deep into this, I'm going to understand it more. No. They're just solely meant to poke fun at other films. So basically just, it's brain numbing, if you will. You just turn it on, you watch, you have a laugh, you call it a day. That's basically about it. Each of these scary movies do not need to be watched in the same order. Like I said, funny enough, they do use the same actors and actresses for a lot of them. That's just because they keep the same cast, which I kind of like because it just makes them play different roles. Kind of like American Horror Story TV show. They use a lot of the same actors and actresses, but they play different roles for different series. That's what I like about Scary Movie. So I'm hoping a lot of these same actors and actresses are going to be in Scary Movie 6, because I think that would just keep the OG team going. And typically when you have the same OG team going, you're able to work with it a lot better. Like I said, a lot of people, this is not their cup of tea. Spoof movies are one of those weird ones where it's like, I think they're stupid or whatever. Okay, fair enough. But a lot of other people like it because kind of like what The Simpsons did, kind of like what Family Guy did. They took a stance, if you will, and they're like, hey, I'm going to make fun of this actor. I'm going to make fun of these movies because we think that this part's silly. A lot of people don't like that. I think that's bold. I think that's brave to be like, oh no, that's stupid. I'm going to make fun of it. And they make a movie about it. Those are my rankings, right? Like I said, 5 to 1. I'm excited for Scary Movie 6. I'm going to go see it in theaters. Comment down below if you're going to go see it in theaters. Comment down below whether or not you agree or disagree with my rankings. And subscribe and hit that bell to be notified about future videos coming out. I plan on making a video just briefly talking about what my plan is, what my goal is for this channel. And when it comes to uploading either YouTube full videos, in-depth videos like this one, or shorts or TikTok videos. So that way I kind of can explain better. And hopefully I sound better to you guys right now. I got a microphone now. You know, I'm adding the little extra pieces to my set, and this is actually not going to be my full like setup you guys see. I have way more projects in the future I want to work on, but that's going to be for another video for another day. But anyway guys, I'm out. See ya.